So the sun is in Aquarius, and that means you are all lit up. And what Spirit is asking you to give yourself the gift of during your solar return season is getting back to your true nature. And those are the words they would like to use very deliberately. We're going to get into more of why in a second. Hi Aquarius, thanks for dropping by. Welcome to Zero's Journey. I'm Madeline, and here on this channel, we use a compass of courage, curiosity, compassion, and creativity to get where it is we're trying to go by being exactly where the fuck we are. Welcome, welcome. And happy birthday to those of you with Sun in Aquarius. So, before we get into your reading for the month, we're going to talk about the story in just a second. But as you're navigating your month, Spirit wants to give you an orientation point, kind of a North Star. And yours, for your season, Aquarius, is nature. So as I said in the beginning, as soon as I turned over this card, before we got together, I spent some time tuning into your energy, talking to your folks, etc. Hi Praxis, cameo by my cat Praxis. What Spirit talked about was finding your rhythm more than your routine. So some of you may have been feeling a little disembodied, a little perhaps discombobulated. When the sun enters Aquarius, all of us become a little more intellectualized, a little more analytical. It's a beautiful thing. It's a very zoom out, think of all of humanity, think of how we're all connected, etc. But with all of that beautiful air medicine that you carry with you, Spirit is asking you to balance it out with some earth medicine. So, nature. On one very fundamental basic level, can you find a place to go outside and spend some time around trees and grass and flowers? Maybe even go that extra mile and put your bare feet in the dirt, in the grass. Another way of doing this is, if you can't necessarily get out into nature, growing some indoor plants, or even just making a fresh meal using, vegetables, fruits, herbs, and really appreciating and kind of infusing them with gratitude, awareness of what they're going to be doing for your body. Like, thank you so much. This is really going to cleanse and nourish my system. This is really going to balance my gut, whatever. And Spirit is saying these things. So if they are resonating for you, like you've been thinking about your gut health or anything like that, please take that as a little like ding, 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 ding from Spirit. Being very aware of how you are fed by nature, how you are a creature of nature. Like Aquarius is kind of famous for getting cast as the alien or the robot. And the truth is, you're an earthling. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take from you any of that beautiful robot and alien medicine that you also so naturally carry with you. But you are embodied, right? And so Spirit is talking about there's an availability of calm and healing and wisdom that comes from rooting yourself in this body. So maybe you are not that familiar with your vessel. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not that familiar with the fact that your body is not just a vessel, but is a living intelligence, like holds a whole amount of wisdom and intuition and instinct and understanding that from here up you don't have, right? Like, and are you operating in symphony and in concert with that? And if you're not, no blame, no shame, no judgment. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, ooh, if I could access all of this amazing instinct and intuition and wisdom that I have down here, that can make a lot of things happen for me. And that's what Spirit is saying. And there's a lot that comes with getting in touch with your body. That's all. I could make a whole last video just about that, because of course it's not just like, oh good, I'm getting in touch with my body and everything is wonderful. There's also activation points and irritation points. But that is medicine too. Sometimes the medicine's a little bitter before things like dissolve and flow and then start to get a little sweeter. So, with earth medicine in mind, and I'm just gonna say, when I was shuffling your cards, like I said before we got together, King of Pentacles was one of the cards that flew out, so Spirit was very loud about nature, earth medicine, get with the green. Grow something and appreciate with patience, like how much time it takes for something to develop roots so that it can, photosynthesize and etc. And having that appreciation and learning that enjoyment of the process. A lot of the times it's easy to get committed or excited about a goal or an outcome. And Pentacles people, Earth people, are committed to the process more than the goal. And that creates a more joyful and satisfactory outcome, period. So something that Spirit is just offering you and to keep in mind. Cameo by Praxis. I'm not obsessed with my cats. I know, I am. Aren't we all? Okay, Aquarius. Let's get into the month. Let's get into the plot. Wow. First card, just like as soon as I said that, flew out. Okay. Let's talk about February, Spirit. What does Aquarius need to know in the month of February for their highest good, Spirit? Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Rising, Aquarius Dominant people. What do they need to know this month, Spirit, for their highest good? What energies, people, pitfalls, potentials do you want to bring their awareness to for their highest good? We are aiming for Aquarius's abundance, security, peace, joy, love. We want them to be able to understand the past and the present in order to walk into their best possible, most joyful, fulfilling future, Spirit. So what does Aquarius need to know in the month of February? Let's see what we got here. Got a bonus card for your birthday, Aquarius. Ooh, Aquarius in the month of February, Spirit. Where are they in their month? And what do they need to know about where they're going to get to the most joyful, fulfilling place? Yes, beautiful. What a lovely way to start your reading. You are definitely working on bringing things into balance because there is some stagnation, and I feel like you definitely, it's time to shift. It's time to shift. There's been a little bit of, listen, Aquarius is a fixed sign. So I am what I am who I am, and I'm sitting pretty, and that's it, and I don't need to change. No blame, no shame, no judgment. We don't do that here. Let's pick up and look at your card. Middle of the spread. Happy birthday to you, Aquarius. This is a great card. There's nothing wrong at all with the Nine of Cups. It's a card of satisfaction. It's a card of emotional fulfillment. It's a card of I'm able to kick back and say, you know, I'm doing great. Look at me. Look at what I've been able to do. Like, I feel awesome about myself. Really wonderful, wonderful card. And in combination with some other cards, which I will pick up and show you in just a second, it can be an indicator of complacency. It can be an indicator of being like so self-satisfied that it like is bordering on smug, or it's bordering on like, hey, you know, a little stagnant, a little bit like we could do more, or we could have more if we weren't, you know, so busy sitting back and being like satisfied with ourselves. Something to keep in mind. I will pick up and show you more. Again, I ain't judging you for shit. All we're here to do is give you the most joyful, fulfilling life that you can possibly have, right? So if you know on the inside, Aquarius, that you have a little bit of that, as we all do, that little bit of, you know, human ego, I know best, I know what I'm doing, etc. It just feels like there's room for new information and shifting, that it like the potential for better things is high. So middle of your reading, Nine of Cups, crossing it, Two of Pentacles, Earth Medicine, Two of Pentacles, a subtle shift. So it is not so much that you need to do something completely different or something completely new. It's more like, hey, how's the balance of resources going? Do some adjustments need to be made? Like, spend a little less on this, spend a little more on this, or alternatively, might not be about money, it might be about your other resources, which are all ruled by the Pentacles. So like your time. Ooh, you know what? I've been spending a lot of time on this and it isn't really paying off. Let me see if I make this slight adjustment and spend a little more time over here. Does that pay off? Trust, Aquarius. I'm all about trusting your own intuition. Like, your free will and your intuition are everything. So of course you might hear things in this reading that really resonate with you, but I want you to trust your own intuition. And when I'm saying that, the things that occur to you, like, oh, you know, I have been thinking about maybe making this adjustment, or like using a little more of my frivolous money to pay off more debts or whatever. Trust what your intuition is like. Hey, this is that thing that we've been thinking about making an adjustment on. Just saying. Right below, what's going on inside of you? Another card about balance, about how are things going, about making very conscious decisions about what is fair, what is harmonious, and sitting in the past, judgment. Whenever I see these two cards next to each other, that's pretty indicative of really important commitments, and maybe even signing papers, like signing leases or signing marriage and divorce papers, or even like Spirit is being funny, but they're like even like writing down a list of like, I'm gonna do these chores, you're gonna do these chores, like agreements that we make with people to keep things flowing, to keep things in balance. The ultimate point of making a decision that is rooted in like, I'm listening to my higher self, I'm awake to what's really going on here, I'm not operating on an unconscious level, right? Meaning like, I am not dead on my feet, I am very much alive and awake to the epiphanies and realizations and kind of like bolts from the blue and inspirations. I'm awake and alive to them, and I move with them. When I get the epiphany, I move with it. I take action based on it. And when I do that, and I take action, that's what the Pentacles are about, right? Like taking it from an idea or something in my head to like doing something, making that adjustment, donating all that stuff that's just taking up space, for example. And Spirit is saying that. So for some of you, it's like, oh yeah, you know what? I do have like bags of clothes or like a whole pile of stuff that like I haven't been using for years. It's literally collecting dust and taking up space. It would be a really excellent exercise for you to pass, you know, pay it forward, like pass that goodness and that bounty that you're not really using and give it to other people who need it. Generosity brings you blessings this month, is what Spirit just said. Hovering above your reading, Page of Cups, you know, you are the water bearer. And Page of Cups receives blessings, is open to blessings, is optimistic about blessings, and it's really important that you embody that. I feel like it's available for you. Here is one of the reasons why I was saying I think it's time to make a very conscious and practical shift. Earth medicine, Spirit talked about nature, right? Like practical as in, if I say that I'm going to start taking a walk every day, then I start taking a walk every day. Or if I say that I need to sit down with my budget and make adjustments because there's goals that I have or things that I want to do or change, then I sit down and I do it. And then I, you know, take action based on the realization, as Spirit was talking about with the epiphany. It's important to make the shift because sitting in the position of where you find yourself, Four of Cups, looking at what's not working, looking at how it's supposed to be, how you want it to be, and missing out on like, oh, you know what? There's a whole different way of doing it. I don't want you to miss out on this. And also sitting in the key position, the very cup emerging from the hand in the clouds. It is here for you. Ace of Cups is an emotional breakthrough, like forgiveness, or falling in love, or breaking down in tears in the middle of your yoga class or your therapy session and releasing a bunch of stuff again that really had to go. I'm hearing a lot of like, it's time to make moves, it's time to make shifts. It's just beneficial for you. Spirit is using a really funny metaphor, which is like, if you've ever given blood, when you give blood, you create, you know, a lack, right, inside of your body, like, ooh, we need more blood than this. Like, there's a certain amount of pints we got to have flowing around at all times. So the body generates and creates more blood. And that blood is like, you know, fresh and more oxygenated. So you'll hear people who give blood a lot talking about like, oh, my blood's getting stale. It's about time for me to give again so that I can get that new blood pumping through me. So Spirit's talking about injecting new life, injecting new blood into what you're doing. When in doubt, change it up. When in doubt, try something new. That's just what I'm hearing. Sitting in your future. Again, reasons I say that it feels like it's time to make a shift financially or career-wise. Again, Aquarius, these are general readings and I'm hearing different things. For some of you, this is completely around career and finances. Like, this is not working for me on a practical day-to-day level, so I need to shift something in order for me to be happier. For others of you, it's emotionally. In whichever it is, and some of you may be experiencing both, because these things tend to be patterns that kind of imprint across our lives. If there's an imbalance in the way that we handle our physical and material resources, there may be an imbalance that rhymes with it in our emotional life. Like, if I spend more than I make, am I an overgiver? You know what I mean? That type of shit. Just be aware, Spirit's talking about it, I'm just saying. But okay. Sitting in your future, Aquarius, and I'm going to say before I pick these up, your free will, as I said, is everything. The changes and the choices that you make in the present, obviously, clearly, implicitly, directly affect your future. So, the cards that I'm about to show you, the whole point of getting a tarot reading is like, oh, if I really like this outcome, then it looks like I'm doing great. Maybe just lean in harder to what I'm doing, if anything, and maybe I'll multiply these great results I'm seeing. And if you don't like the results sitting in front of you in a tarot reading, the benefit of having it is that you can pivot and be like, okay, so what I'm doing right now needs an adjustment because I don't want to end up in blank XYZ situation. So what I feel is that if you hold back on asking for what it is that you need, or shifting in some other way, because that's what it is for some of you, is like, oh, I need to make it clear that I need something, or that I have something I want to give, or etc., rather than holding it all in, holding it all back. And let's just notice this imagery real quick. Got crossed arms, we are held back, we are held off, we are, I can do it myself, I'm good. And like, that's kind of what Spirit is saying. Like, some of y'all are saying like, I'm good, when you're not good. When it's like, I do need something, or just want something, or whatever. Don't go, I'm good, because you don't want to be seen out here needing something. Like, your vulnerability is really important because, okay, let's just get to it, Maddie. Like, I'm avoiding. Here's what's showing up in your future. Four of Pentacles. More of this crossed-armed, closed-off energy of like, I only have enough for me, or like, I take care of myself, or whatever. Holding in your skills, holding in your money, holding back. It's another card that can imply like a lack or a feeling of lack. And the clarifying card that came along with that was Three of Swords, which is like feeling shitty, feeling cut off, feeling alone. And that is so clearly like not what Spirit wants for you and not the reality. What you want is available. You just need to uncross your arms and be a little more vulnerable and innocent about it. So if you want something or need something, please ask for it and let yourself be surprised by how people want to give to you. Don't ignore your epiphanies. That's what I'm really hearing, is like, if you have an epiphany about what you need from someone, or that you need to change, act on that. Your potential card, another four, but a very different energy. A Four of Cups is the Four of Pentacles, but here is the Four of Wands. The right kind of four, like stability, right? Fours imply boundaries, and as I said, stability and security. And with Four of Pentacles, it's a little too tight. It's constrictive. It's tightening the belt when it's not necessarily necessary. Like, you have more than you might be acknowledging. So share it. You know, what we give, we receive in abundance. So if we give nothing, we tend to receive nothing in abundance. If we give generously, we tend to receive generously, because people like to give to good people. Four of Wands, the potential, we can shift the nature of this four. When you share your gifts, your money, your time generously with people who are on your level, like people who want to share in kind with you, what you have multiplies. Your joy multiplies. Your security multiplies. The enjoyment multiplies. So share your gifts. Make adjustments. Ask for what you need and be willing to, it's like, ask for what you need and be willing to receive. And then also, of course, and I don't think that this is an issue for you, Aquarius, but be willing to give. And I'm not talking, again, I said it's not a problem for you to be like generous. What I mean is like emotionally generous, like vulnerable, like not waiting for the other person to get in contact with you, saying like if they really care or if they really want to, they'll contact me. Going ahead and being the vulnerable one and putting yourself out there and being a blessing in someone's life, rather than sitting around waiting and being like, well, these aren't the blessings I wanted, so I'm not going to take it. You feel me? Something really wonderful is available to you this month. Be innocent, be open, and let yourself be surprised. Let your perspective be altered. It's a good thing. All right. How are you feeling, Aquarius? How's this hitting you? Comments, questions, stories, please let me know. I love to hear from y'all. And if you would like to support the channel, please take a second to like or dislike, depending on how you feel. Be honest, I appreciate any feedback I get. Send to a friend, subscribe if you vibe. I would deeply appreciate it. And if you ever want to get a personal reading or support the channel on Patreon, I do daily card readings. We do a monthly live call-in show and other really cool stuff. All the ways to keep hanging out and support me are in the box below. I appreciate your time, Aquarius, and I hope that it pays for itself many, many, many times over. And if I don't see you in a video before then I hope to see you in your March reading. Happy birthday and bye!